I am so grateful to the tireless efforts of my team, the visionary leadership of the board.
Paul Winters buttoned up the most expensive suit he'd ever owned. Not because he cared about luxury, but because tonight was Linda's night, his wife, her promotion, her moment. He wanted her to be proud of him. He never imagined this would be the night he'd realize he didn't belong in her world anymore. Not because he wasn't enough, but because she no longer wanted him to be. When Paul walked into the grand ballroom, he felt like an intruder. Everywhere he looked, he saw the elegant tribe of his wife's corporate universe. He wasn't intimidated, just out of place. Then he saw her, Linda, stunning in a blue dress, holding court, surrounded by admirers. She looked like she was born for champagne toasts and stage lights. He caught her eye and raised his glass. She gave him the quickest nod, then turned right back to her circle. He told himself it wasn't personal. When the CEO announced Linda as the new marketing director, Paul's chest swelled with pride. He clapped harder than anyone. He waited for her to look at him, to share a smile, to acknowledge the man who'd supported her through every late night and stressful presentation. But her acceptance speech came and went. She thanked her boss, her team, her colleagues, even the office manager, not a single word for her husband. It was as if he didn't exist. Afterwards, she was swarmed with congratulations. When Paul finally got near her, she looked at him, truly saw him for a second, and then immediately turned away to laugh with Thomas Brighton, a silver-haired client who stood just a little too close. Paul stood there, a ghost at the party. Later, when he tried to congratulate her again, she brushed him off. "That was a professional speech, Paul," she said sharply. "Don't make this a thing," he asked quietly. "So I'm not part of your professional success?" She just sighed, annoyed. "Lower your voice." And then she pivoted away, leaving him staring at her back. In that quiet, crushing moment, something inside him broke. As the night ended, Paul overheard Linda agree to a private dinner with Brighton for the next week. "It's a date," Brighton said with a smirk, his hand lingering on her arm. That was it. Paul walked out of the hotel, got in his car, and drove home. Alone, when Linda walked into their dark apartment at 1 a.m., he was waiting. "We need to talk," he said. She waved him away. "It's late. Tomorrow." "No," Paul said, his voice surprisingly steady. "Tonight." He told her everything, the humiliation, the distance, the way she looked right through him. She met him with annoyance and excuses. Finally, he said it. "I'm leaving for a while," Linda just blinked. "Because I forgot to mention you in a speech." "No," he replied. "Because I've been disappearing from your life for months. Tonight just showed me how far gone we are." He packed a bag, and as he walked out the door, she pleaded, "Paul, don't do this." But he was already gone. His brother Michael welcomed him without a single question, just listened as Paul explained everything. Michael's only words were, "You deserve to be with someone who sees you." For the first time in months, Paul slept soundly. Over the next few days, Linda's calls went from angry to pleading. He ignored them all, not to be cruel, but because he needed to hear his own thoughts without her voice drowning them out. She finally tracked him down at his office the weekend. She apologized for the speech, blaming stress and work. But when Paul asked about Brighton, her defensiveness was an answer in itself. Then came the line that sealed their fate. "I need to present a certain image," she said. "And that doesn't include a husband who's just an accountant, the man who paid their bills while she chased her dream." That's when Paul said two words he never planned. "Thank you." "For what?" She scowled. "For making my decision easier." And he walked away. That's when Linda finally panicked. She begged to talk, her voice filled with genuine fear. They met in a small coffee shop. Without her power suit and makeup, she looked vulnerable. She admitted everything, her insecurities, her fear of not looking strong enough on her own, and how she'd taken his love for granted. "I wasn't cheating," she confessed, "but I was drifting toward something dangerous." He appreciated her honesty. So they made a pact. 3 months. Couples, counseling, date nights, and total honesty. Either they'd rebuild their marriage or end it with clarity. And for the first time in years, Linda fought for them. She canceled the dinner with Brighton and had him transferred to another manager. She cut her work hours. She showed up for Paul consistently and genuinely. Slowly, they started finding each other again. On their final date of the 3-month trial, Linda reached across the table, took his hand and said, "I want you to come home. Not because everything's perfect, but because I want to build something better with you," and he believed her. They moved back in together with new rules, respect, partnership, and no more invisibility. At the next corporate event, Linda proudly introduced him. "This is my husband, Paul, the smartest man I know." She said it not for her image, but because she meant it. Paul didn't just get his marriage back. He got himself back, ensuring he would never be invisible in his own life again.